Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That concludes our mini-series on promoting inclusivity within recitation that praises the Ahlul Bayt and praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We look towards other schools of thought, unfortunately, within our own Muslim world, and we see that many times our brothers and sisters belonging to different practice groups within Islam, different schools of thought, they interpret certain chapters of the Quran, for example, Surah Abasa, where they say that when the Prophet was teaching something to his Sahabi and a blind man came running towards him and he said that I want to learn something from you, and it says he frowned. So our brothers in other schools of thought say that it was the Prophet who frowned and turned his face away from that blind man who was coming enthusiastically to learn from the Prophet. But we in the Jafri school of thought, we say no, that was wrong. The Prophet would have never done anything like that, and it was actually that he frowned and turned his face away from one of the Sahabi that he was upset with, because there were certain Sahabi that were antagonistic towards the Prophet. The Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt were always the most inclusive and the most loving towards any of those, whether they be belonging to a different minority group, oppressed group like black Muslims or blind Muslims or deaf Muslims. The Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt were always inclusive to those people. So Haqq as an organization would like to promote the message and deliver the message that we as an organization welcome recitation from all people, regardless of ability, accent, disability, ethnicity, what have you, and that we encourage people belonging to any group that because they were associated with that group, they have been discouraged from recitation, we would encourage them to come back towards the recitation of the Ahlul Bayt. There's no greater deed than praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping Him, and praising the Ahlul Bayt, which in turn is a worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He wanted us to love them and He wanted us to worship them. So we would encourage people to come back, whether you didn't have the correct accent or you had a speech impediment, please come back and recite out of your love for the Ahlul Bayt. Inshallah, through this mini-series, we were able to promote inclusivity in the praising of the Ahlul Bayt. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.